Moneymane made this song.
Joe Flacco just keeps exposing Kevin Stefanski's offense.
The bottom may still fall out on Joe Flacco. But if I'm seeing, because the bottom falls out on a lot of guys who are older and really are backups now. So the bottom may fall out on him. But damn it, like you're seeing that it was at least capable. There was at least something there. I didn't think any of us really felt that Joe was going to finish the season with the Browns. Be nice, but I don't think anybody really thought that. Could I have got to a point further where we were more comfortable, where maybe you could put Dylan Gabriel in there and he doesn't look completely overwhelmed after one start? Because that's what he's looked like over the last three starts. Would it extend the timeline a little bit more? Because now I fear that, what Coach Lance said made tons of sense. Where it's like, I want to see what he does after he fails, after he plays really bad football. Let's see how he responds to that. Great point. That's a real football coach saying that. That ain't just dummy Ken. But when you get past that, if he goes out there and he plays bad football, am I just putting Shedeur in too early? And then do I trust the people who are leading the charge with Shedeur, meaning the coaching staff? Nobody does right now.
You can tell, Kenny, you could tell even the Shedeur people, as mad as they are about all the conversations, I think they've gotten kind of quiet over the last 2 weeks because they're like, oh boy, if this is his NFL opportunity, I might rather have him sit the rest of the year and go somewhere else.
I always point over there like Jonathan still sits there. But Jonathan and I, Jonathan's a way bigger Shedeur guy than I, and everybody knows, I like him. I like him. He'd have to be a magician. He would have to be Tom Brady. And I don't know if Tom Brady would be Tom Brady had he had started out with that. I mean, he has to be a sorcerer once he takes over this football team. Because, I want to see him. But damn, I'm going to have my reservations. I'm going to be nervous about the situation he's taken over. And whether or not he's going to be set up for success, because I have the lack of trust in the roster building, and I have the lack of trust in what's going on, and I'm getting more and more evidence of things working out with other players around the league. And I ain't just talking about the guy down in Tampa.
Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. It's two common denominators between all those names. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. The two common denominators that have destroyed these quarterbacks in Cleveland. Now, let me tell you right now. The offense is Kevin Stefanski's offense. That's what we're focusing on right now. I'm going to do Andrew Berry video after this, so stay tuned. Like, subscribe, and share, and tell your friend about that Moneymane you already know. Baker Mayfield is playing at the MVP level right now. Joe Flacco has unlocked the old Joe, coming back to his form to where he's unstoppable. Deshaun Watson was that guy in Houston. Now he's nothing. Dylan Gabriel was a rookie, highly touted, supposedly, and drafted in the third round, but can't seem to get over the hump or even show us what Kevin was looking at when they drafted him in the third round before Shedeur Sanders. And Shedeur can't even touch the field, let alone get a first-team rep in practice. The common denominator is Kevin Stefanski. Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals scored 42 points. I know they lost the game, but Joe Flacco went 31 for 47, 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. This is the first time Joe Flacco has ever in his career thrown over 400 yards. Baker Mayfield down there in Tampa Bay has 1,919 yards and 13 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, looking like an MVP candidate on pace to throw for almost 5,000 yards. Joe Flacco this season has thrown for 269 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel done thrown for 702 yards, 5 touchdowns, and statistically 2 interceptions, but it should be 9. What you getting at, Moneymane? What I'm getting at is Kevin Stefanski is the main culprit of why these quarterbacks don't succeed in Cleveland, let alone the offense. The past 6 years he done been there, Baker Mayfield threw over 3,000 yards each season, including his rookie year in 2018. But now, if you look at the career stats for Baker Mayfield, after he left Cleveland, he bounced around with Carolina and the Rams. But so for some reason, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after Tom Brady retired, took a chance on Baker Mayfield. He done threw over 4,000 yards every season and on pace to throw 5,000 yards this season. What you getting at, Moneymane? Joe Flacco has unlocked old Joe in Cincinnati. Since Joe Flacco has been traded to the Cincinnati Bengals, he has thrown for 342 yards in his first game, less than a week after being traded to Cleveland, from Cleveland, 223 yards in his next game, 470 yards in his third game in Cincinnati. 3 touchdowns in the first game, 2 touchdowns in the second game, 4 touchdowns, and finally threw 2 interceptions in this last game. What you getting at, Moneymane? Dylan Gabriel, since Dylan Gabriel has been a starter for the Cleveland Browns, he has yet to eclipse Joe Flacco passing yards, period. He has thrown 5 touchdowns with a question mark on 2 interceptions where it should be 9. Dylan Gabriel passed for 190 yards in London his first game with 2 touchdowns. Now, I told y'all those 2 touchdowns are questionable because Quinshawn Junkins ran the ball down there and they did 2 play-action fakes to give Dylan Gabriel those touchdowns instead of handing the ball off to Quinshawn. Then Pittsburgh, he threw for 221 yards on 52 attempts. Miami, he didn't have to do much because Quinshawn did everything, and the defense shut down the Dolphins. 116 yards passing. And New England, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and finally 2 interceptions. So what you getting at, Moneymane? It seems like Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco, and whatever other quarterback has been back there for Cleveland under Kevin Stefanski, when they finally leave and get into another offense, a better offense, they stats explode. Baker Mayfield has thrown over 4,000 passing yards since he's been in Tampa Bay. Joe Flacco been in Cincinnati for 3 weeks. Joe Flacco has been in Cincinnati for 3 weeks and has thrown way more yards, way more touchdowns than Dylan Gabriel has when he replaced Joe Flacco and Joe Flacco was sitting on the bench. What you getting at, Moneymane? It seems like Shedeur Sanders needs to get out of Cleveland. That's what it seemed like. But it's out of our hands. Andrew Berry, like I told y'all, just my opinion, he may be trying to help Shedeur Sanders become the franchise quarterback in Cleveland. Now, I'm telling y'all, Joe Flacco going to keep exposing this offense, this mediocre offense that the Cleveland Browns are running. Now, the next thing is Andrew Berry part in it, what I want to touch on, but I'm going to make a full video on this, how Cleveland, even with Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco in 2023, has always had a true number 1 receiver that can go get it. Cleveland right now, Jerry Jeudy is not that guy. He, at best, is a 3rd receiver on any other team. Joe Flacco and Baker Mayfield have a number 1 and maybe a number 1B on their roster at receiver. So that's what comes with Andrew Berry in this situation as the second common denominator. But the main culprit is Kevin Stefanski, mediocre, lackluster, play-action offense that relies on the run game to be established with this mediocre quarterback play from Dylan Gabriel. What you expect gonna happen when Shedeur get in there? Now, I'm telling you right now, I believe in Shedeur, and I want the best for Shedeur, and I know Shedeur can light it up even in this offense. But do we really want Shedeur saving Kevin's job? Do we really want Shedeur out there getting beat up with this bad offensive line? Do we really want Shedeur out there taking hits for this sorry, losing mentality organization, Cleveland Browns? And I'm here to tell you, my opinion, yes. And the reason why I say yes is so he could go ahead and get this experience, get some tape on film, and just maybe, Shedeur is the savior for the Cleveland Browns this season. But They have to put them in before it's too late.
My savage. Moneymane and the thing of a T and playing no games. Should I already know my name when I speak NCC flame. Got my YouTube poppin', man. Like, subscribe and everything in between. You already know Moneymane. You all